So this video is super zoomed in just so you can see detail, but I have my sculpture here, and remember you have a little head to measure everything. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, then a little extra for the hips, and remember, don't make them too big. Then the torso is 1, 2, and then your arm should come around halfway through your thighs. So now that you have all this done, you added a piece that went up, and then you had the little head here. What you're going to do is grab a piece of paper, and I'm using just regular copy paper. There's a bunch at the front in the basket. Just come get it from the sub. So all I'm doing is grabbing a piece of paper. I'm going to crumble it, and I'm going to go ahead and add it here at the head. And remember, if you open and crumble again, and you open and crumble again, you'll get a soft paper you can manipulate. So we're going to go like that. And we're going to go ahead and add the tape right here. And we're going to make that the head. Make sure you leave enough space here for the neck. And then you're going to add the chest cavity as well. So you're going to grab paper and you can make it a little bit flatter. So finish the head, tape that on, and grab a little paper, make it a little flatter here, and you're going to tape that on. You're also going to add one to the back, and it's going to be right here at the hip joint. And that's going to be the butt. When you put the chest cavity and the butt together and you put paper in between, it looks really natural, like an actual human. So that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to grab some longer pieces that are smaller. I'm going to crumble them up, and I'm going to add them to the thighs. But I'm going to stay away from the knees so they don't stay too thick. So let me do that real quick, and I'll restart the video. So I had added the head, and I taped around it. Please notice that I left enough for the neck. Mine's kind of round here and a little flat here. So I'm going to have to add a little extra here to make it even. So think about that. This one is like a heart shape almost, or like a triangle shape for the chest. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to make sure I go above here, the wire, above the shoulders, and then around. If I do that, it'll stick really well. Please notice I'm not crushing it like crazy. I'm letting the tape move and kind of shape my form. I have this tiny little piece of paper that I made, and I made it kind of flat. I'm going to put it right here at the edge. And then when I tape it, it'll round off my head and it'll look better. I made this other one, and I'm also going to make it kind of flat. And I'm going to turn it around to the back. Notice that I put tape all the way around. It's super, super, super important that you do not cover this in tape completely. If you put tons of tape on this, you will not be able to shape it into something nice. You want it to be kind of loose so that you can shape it and fix your mistakes. If you go crazy with it, you won't see the head wasn't even in the middle. You won't be able to shape this. So please limit to tape. So I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to add it right here in the middle. Not below it, not above it, right there in the middle. And I'm going to tape that. When I do that, it's going to have an actual form of a chest cavity, a butt, and then everything else that goes with it. And again, I'm going around it, almost like a diaper, I guess. It's going to stick out really weird, but that's because you need the next step, where you start grabbing small pieces like the one I did on the head, and you start adding pieces to shape it. If you have a very thin waist, then you make it thinner. If you wanted more blockier, then you put a paper that goes straight up. It all depends, especially if you have like a male figure, you want it to go higher up. If you want it thinner, you go here and make it like, the waist up. So you start adding stuff like that. These small, kind of flattish ones, you start wrapping them around the thighs right here. You start wrapping them around the thighs, and you start taping it, and it'll create that V that we naturally have. So like this on both sides. And so that's how you start filling up the body. The same thing with the arms. You start rolling a little bit of crunched up, but not too much. You wrap it around the arms. Make sure they are smaller than what you want them, because the tape makes them a little bit thicker, and then this whole person's going to have volume to it. So you do the same thing with the legs, the knees. Don't forget to measure the knees. You take your head, you go 1, 2, and that's where your knees are at. Even if your knees are not going to be bent, I need you to bend them. Grab a pair of pliers and just bend them with a pair of pliers and get that really sharp knee, so that you know where it is. You can always bend it back out, but you got the indentation for the knees, and you'll know where your thighs get thick and then thin at the knees, and then where you put your calf muscle. So please don't forget the knees. The elbows will be right at the belly button, so it's going to be right here, and that's where you grab a pair of pliers and you give me your elbows. We can shape your person to be sitting or doing whatever you want later, but let's focus on this part right now. Then we'll add hair, then we'll add clothes. Thank you.